On this episode, we'll discuss innovative giving solutions for the modern church. Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Church Leadership Lab podcast, the show that is dedicated to inspiring leaders and empowering healthy churches. I'm Kendall Connor, joined by my co-host, Jessica Moore. Hey there, Jess. How are you today?
Hey, Kendall. I'm good. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing really well. It's exciting to jump into another episode.
It's been a minute since you and I sat down and talked.
I know.
Together.
I'm really excited. Yeah. It's, it's just that season, a lot of different things. I know my family, we're just coming back from a camping trip, doing some hiking and doing some different things. So
did you guys have good weather?
Whenever we bring out the camping gear, it's like the rain just heads our way, but we make the most of it. And overall, it was pretty good. Got in some great hiking, probably to some mountain peaks higher than I've ever personally been. And
that's awesome.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Before we forget, I'm sure people are just like hanging on by the edge of their seats to know how your float trip went.
Yes. If for those who dedicated diehard podcast listeners of ours, when we talked about that last week, I said that I was going to be going tubing in a river for the very first time. And I gotta be honest with you. I was having some reservations when we first got to the river. It had been doing a ton of raining and it was a lot muddier than I was expecting. I don't know what I don't know what I thought, if there would be like crystal clear water, but I got to tell you, that is not the case. When we got there, but I was like, we're going to press through, and we had such a blast. Very relaxing. There were some some movement, some rabbits in there, but it was a lot of fun, and I would definitely do it again. So
that's awesome. We actually went to a creek last week and we floated, and I was like, I wonder if Kendall's floating right now too.
What we got to do off of this is we've actually got to start a nature podcast on the side of this. Maybe that's a side project that we've got to pursue.
I love it.
All right. That's back to the church world side of this thing. And we have a great guest that's planned for today. Emily Fascilla. She is actually a partner of Ministry Brands. She's from the Giving Block. And I'm really excited to talk about the subject today that we are, because Jess, I know how much church giving is a passion of yours. Mm-hmm. We've talked about that many times. Mm-hmm. And Emily, she's coming to us from the Giving Block, and she focuses on the nonprofit side of that. And she has spent 10 plus years in fundraising development and leadership. And when it comes to things like capital campaigns, major gift programs, grant writing, marketing, communications, she's done so much of this, she's coming with so much experience in this area. And she just has a real passion for just ensuring that organizations, they have the financial support that they need to fulfill their vision. She seeks all kind of innovative and cutting edge approaches to meet the needs of nonprofits. And so for our listeners out there, if you've ever been kind of curious about how you can get creative with giving, with fundraising, even in areas that are kind of new, like crypto, which is, can I be honest, super foreign to me. That's something that's new, but I know that it is a real world thing now. And when it comes to things like crypto with stocks, and really just coming up with a strategy of how to implement those at your churches. Today, we get to talk all about giving solutions for the modern church. This sounds pretty exciting, right, Jess?
Yeah, this is great. I also am not super familiar. I had to learn a little bit when we added this to our giving solution, but overall, in general, like stock and crypto still to me feel like fake money, like it's play money, but it's not. It's very much real. And there are some huge benefits to giving with stock and crypto. So I don't know how much of that we're going to talk about today, but it's definitely, we've seen a massive increase in clients who have adopted stock and crypto in our giving platform. It's been a huge blessing to them. So yeah, excited to have this conversation.
Now, and before we jump into our conversation, I know how much value we're going to get from this. I just want to go ahead and encourage our listeners, hit that follow button, because we're going to steadily have conversations like this, where we're going to be providing the latest and greatest, all kinds of innovation and just things to equip you and encourage you along the way as you're serving in ministry. So we want to make sure you stay in the loop. Wherever you're enjoying our show, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button so that you get all the resources as we release them. So, all right, without further ado, let's welcome Emily. How are you? We're so excited that you're here.
Hello, I'm well. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited to jump into this conversation today. Now, well, listen, we read the public bio, but I'm just kind of curious. What's something that maybe doesn't make that public bio that you could tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a fun one, because I live in New York City now, is that I grew up being a competitive ski racer. I'm originally from Boise, Idaho, and we've got a lot of great skiing in Idaho. We've also got great rafting, whitewater rafting. So when you all were talking about that, I was like, oh, this is so my jam. I will definitely listen to the nature offshoot of this podcast.
I love it.
Yeah, love to ski to this day. Don't do it competitively anymore, but that's probably the most surprising one for people I meet these days.
Well,
That's awesome.
I've heard that crypto and stocks and skiing go well together. Like that's
the perfect pair. Yeah, the big three. Yep.
The big. Well, that's awesome, and also very cool to hear that you're in New York. I imagine that's got to bring a lot of excitement to your life, right?
It does. Yes. I originally moved out here for a nonprofit that I was very excited to be working for. And it's been a wonderful journey. So many incredible nonprofits in this area, so much room for that innovation. And we'll get into that a little bit, I'm sure. But love living in New York. Lots of community here that just makes the city so beautiful.
Very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get involved with the Giving Block? And, like you've got a lot of expertise when it comes to fundraising and things and working with nonprofits. Tell us how you got in that space.
Absolutely. So I like to say I've been fundraising for over 3 decades now. I can get away with that because I started my first fundraiser when I was 8 years old. I put together a hot cocoa stand for Toys for Tots. It was the year that I found out not every child gets Christmas presents on Christmas morning. And that devastated me as an 8-year-old. I sold those hot cocoa cups for 50 cents a pop and would donate a few $100s every Christmas season to Toys for Tots. So that's
I love that.
Yeah. And it helps. My mom is also an executive director of an early childhood learning center. So that is a nonprofit as well. So I've been in this work my entire life, but professionally, we're at over 10 years, well over. And the Giving Block actually, I met through my nonprofit work. So I worked for an organization that builds schools globally. And at the end of 2017, we received $1 million in Bitcoin. We were shocked. Wow. We were probably how you feel now. Yes. We were not only wowed by the amount, but we knew nothing about crypto at that time. And so we were like, is this even real money? How do we make it real money? And we were kind of in a panic because it's a large amount you don't want to lose out on. And so shortly thereafter, got connected with the Giving Block team, who make it so easy to accept crypto because it auto converts for you to cash. So your nonprofit is receiving the cash. You don't have to deal with the fluctuations in the market of crypto or really know anything about it in order to be accepting it and fundraising it. So I got introduced to them long ago. I moved on to another nonprofit and brought them on board there. And then eventually it just made sense to come on internally, and it's been so much fun. So I've been here about 4 years now, and it's beautiful because I get to work with so many different nonprofit organizations across the globe.
That's awesome. So you said that gift came in 2017. How long has the Giving Block been around?
So we've been around for, I think, 7 years, 6 or 7 years. We were actually, after that gift, and it was the company, our co-founders, Alex, who's been on this podcast, and Pat, saw the issue that so many nonprofits experienced in trying to accept crypto and provided the solution through creating the Giving Block shortly after those donations were made. So it was something that, we became one of the first clients of the Giving Block because of it, because we went through that process of trying to liquidate it ourselves, trying to open up a wallet ourselves. And when they said, hey, we're putting together a solution for this, we said, absolutely, sign us up. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it feels kind of new, but it's very much not new, not necessarily the Giving Block, but giving with Stalking Crypto is not necessarily new. Right. I will say, I don't know why, and this may be a generalization, but I think maybe not all nonprofits, but I'd say churches maybe are a little bit more hesitant to jump on board. And so hopefully this podcast will encourage folks, because obviously, a gift like that would radically change a church. So that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. So the gift sizes can be really transformative for nonprofits. The average crypto gift is over $10,000. So these are major gifts. Yeah. And they're coming in online, right? They're easy to accept. But yeah, actually crypto philanthropy has been around for a long time. That was end of 2017 was really the birth of it. That same donor gave over 60 million in Bitcoin that December. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
I know. I still get chills thinking about it. There are so many profits that were, just so disproportionately impacted by those gift sizes. It's really incredible.
Wow, that's really something. And I would also just encourage all of our listeners to go back and check out that episode with Alex Wilson, one of the co-founders of the Giving Block, because there's so much good content in there. And we can't cover everything in this episode today. So if you are interested in hearing more about this, for sure, go back and check out that episode because it's a really good one. And I know that online giving is super important today, right? Leaders, they may have considered, going beyond the standard credit card and debit card. And I think so many of our listeners today would probably say they probably have that down at this point. But, what would you say to those listeners who would say that this is completely foreign? Maybe they're a little nervous about it. Can you help us to understand it just a little bit better? Talk us through what this would look like for a church.
Absolutely. So we have made it as easy as giving a credit card donation. And I do anticipate that in the next 5 to 10 years, it will also be as common as giving a credit card donation. Wow. I remember, as we talked about my history in the nonprofit sector, I remember when my mom's nonprofit got set up to accept credit cards instead of just cash and checks. And there's a lot of fear around it, right?
Yeah.
Will we know if they're giving us their real address? What if we don't know this donor already? Right. How will we get in contact with them? I totally understand those hesitations, but with our product, there are built-in safeguards, and we make it as easy as copying and pasting a YouTube video to your website. And with the partnership we have with you all, it might be even easier than that for your, excellent. So, but in terms of kind of just the function of it, everyone who is invested in crypto has what's called a crypto wallet. You can think of it like a bank account. In that crypto wallet, they have their different investments from whatever crypto they choose to invest in. Bitcoin is one of them, maybe the one that you've heard of in the past. You can actually move that cryptocurrency to another wallet address. Think of that as another bank account. And that will go directly to your nonprofit when you're using the integration that we have together. Mm-hmm. So it really is, again, just like you don't know maybe the mechanics of how the credit card information goes from your card to your bank account. That's what's happening on the back end, is just one account to another account. In this case, it's cryptocurrency that's being transferred.
That's amazing. You know what this magic reminds me of? Do you guys remember when podcasts or iPods first came out? And I was like, no, surely there's not 1,000 songs on this little thing, right? I was like, how'd they fit all those CDs in there? Like my brain couldn't compute it. Mm-hmm. This is kind of what it feels like. And it took a minute, but we all got there, right? Like we all now, songs are files and we know they can be housed, virtually. Somewhere in the magical music cloud, right? So similarly, I feel like it's just an adjustment adjustment of like, my brain can't understand it, but that doesn't make it not real. Right. So that's, I don't know, that was random, but that popped into my head. So
no, it makes sense. And I've been in the church long enough to remember when it was completely foreign to use think of using a credit or a debit card to make a donation, right? Like I can remember the days of writing a check, and, you know, the idea that we would be able to pay in some other way other than cash or check was a big deal. And now I think this is it just continues to evolve as we do as a people. Right.
Yeah.
And so having those options to be able to allow people to give in the format that they have, I think is just the next step in that. I'm kind of curious, who would you say, Emily, what type of people do you see donating crypto or stock? I mean, like, is this an everybody kind of thing, or is it younger givers, or just help us out? Who could a church expect to give in this format like this?
This is such a fun question because it is ever changing.
Sure.
And so I think if we were having this conversation 5 years ago, I would say pretty much only millennials and Gen Z are investing in this way and therefore giving in this way, which has been a beautiful thing to see. We're oftentimes working with first-time philanthropists who, there's this young girl in the Michigan area that can give millions of dollars to her local community because she got into crypto super, super young.
Wow.
So yeah, that's an incredible story. But on the back end of that, since crypto has become more popular,
sure,
actually half of all crypto wealth is held by baby boomers. Baby boomers are currently our wealthiest generation. So they have the assets and wealth already to invest in crypto when it's already at this higher level, if you will. There's a lot of crypto enthusiasts who got started when they were teenagers or in college, and those individuals have also made so much money in this investment. Yeah. But we are now seeing that half of all that wealth, since so many different regulations, more awareness, all of that has really come into crypto as a sector. Half of all that wealth is held by baby boomers. We're actually working with a woman right now who is, I believe, 89 years old, and facilitating the transfer of her crypto to an organization. Yeah. So
That's amazing.
It could be anyone. Absolutely. But definitely people who you already know is what I will say.
Wow. And you touched on this just a little bit, but I think it's as important as our listeners are hearing this and they're trying to figure out. So if folks in your church probably already have crypto, or they have stocks and they have, gifts that are like this, when it comes time for them to give, when they give with the giving block, you provide the mechanism that allows them to give, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to figure out how to go and spend crypto. Is that right? How does that work? Break that down for us a little bit more.
Right. So they would go into their investment wallet and transfer that gift, whatever amount they want to give to you, directly to your wallet. And it is that easy in terms of the process. They would have your wallet address, go into theirs, transfer the money. So that piece is super, super simple. And the reason they would want to do that oftentimes is because one of the things you've probably heard about crypto is it's very volatile, right? Oh, the crypto market, it's so unpredictable. It's up, it's down. This is actually a really good thing for the market. It not only increases how many people are adopting crypto, so it increases adoption, more people are investing in it, so that drives up the price of it, the value, but it also lends itself to a tax benefit. So by donating to your local church, to the organization of your church, of your choice, you are able to offset some of those capital gains you would otherwise incur. So we see that is a really big reason why not only, this is a great way for me to support, but the tax benefit comes into it too.
And the conversion happens, right? So that the church doesn't have to go and figure out how they have to spend Bitcoin or whatever it may be, right? That's the beauty of this.
Yeah. Well, so the only thing you will see as the recipient of that donation is the USD straight to your bank account.
Wow.
So yeah, very, very seamless.
And as far as the functionality in our platform, just for anyone listening that does utilize our giving platform, donors would just complete a super short form. I mean, I think it's like maybe 4 fields. I don't remember. It's been a minute, but it's very short and it's very point blank. There's no like, you know exactly what you're doing. If you decide to click the button to utilize stock or crypto to give your gift, it's super easy to do, like unbelievably easy. And then on the end of the church, like you guys just said, there is no work to be done. The money will just be in your bank account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that donor data, capturing that donor data is so important, especially for stock gifts. If you're accepting stock gifts right now in a more manual way and you're not doing it online or through an online form, A, you're probably not getting as many stock donations as you could be, but B, you're almost certainly not getting all the donor data with them. So this form solves for both of those things. With crypto donors, some of them do prefer to give anonymously, and that's where our product also has a safeguard we built within it, something called Chainalysis technology, which scans every single gift that is trying to come to your organization for any bad actors. If there was someone trying to give you money that has been flagged as associated with a bad actor, that gift actually wouldn't even come through to you at all. You wouldn't see it or know about it. So you've got that safeguard for anonymous gifts as well.
I love it.
And just hearing that again, and those are the unknowns, right? For the folks that don't really, have a background in this kind of thing. But it reminds me so much of like the credit card companies, right? The giving companies that provide that level of just extra safety so that you don't have to think about this stuff. And I love that this is now an option because it is just such a foreign concept to so many ministries that are out there. I'm just curious, and if you can explain this to us a little bit. Why would someone choose to give something like stock or crypto over giving, say you mentioned a figure, $10,000. Why would someone choose to give $10,000 in one of these formats rather than $10,000 in cash or, US dollars?
This is a great question. So if you give $10,000 cash, you have spent $10,000 in cash. If you give $10,000 in cryptocurrency or stock, sometimes you're only spending what your investment has already incurred by investing that way. So it's not out of your cash flow. It's not out of just that baseline USD value. If you invested in Bitcoin this time last year, your investment has already doubled. Bitcoin today is worth twice as much as it was this time last year. So you're able to give just based on that investment you've accrued alone. Not only that, but say your Bitcoin has doubled and you want to cash out and use it for something else. Maybe you're purchasing a car or a house and want to use those gains to fund something in your life. Donating a portion of that crypto before you cash it out will offset your capital gains tax. So if you've got double the money, giving away a bit of that, giving away 10,000 of that to your church is going to help you save on taxes and give more at the same time. So it's a highly tax incentivized way to give. Yeah. A lot of people are familiar with stock giving and why more stock giving happens at the end of the year. It's because there is a December 31st deadline for you to offset those gains by making a charitable donation. So the IRS, when they were figuring out what are the regulations around crypto, they actually created a code that they treat crypto exactly the same as they treat stock. So those gifts are tax write-offs.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense too. And I think anyone who's listening today that has had any experience with giving to churches and have seen gifts coming to the church, they're going to have an understanding. They're going to know year-end giving is a big deal and how that works, and so they'll have a little bit of knowledge on that. And I think that will make sense. I want to ask you. if you could tell us a little bit some of those tax benefits and explain those, the long-term value and how churches can kind of make room for that. But before we do, I couldn't resist. I had to pull up a browser window and just look at what the current Bitcoin amount was at this moment, just to know how much one Bitcoin was worth in the US today. So as of the time of this recording, I look at one Bitcoin is worth $103,896. Let me start over on that. $103,896.40. Can't forget the 40 cents on that. And so I don't follow this stuff as probably as I imagine that you do, Emily. So you said that's double from when it was a year ago. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting stuff. But go ahead, tell us. What are some of those benefits, and why would a church or why would a giver benefit from giving these kind of gifts?
Yeah. So when they donate stocks or crypto, they will save on their taxes. They can make that part of their tax write-off. And we actually have a tax calculator on our website where you can put in what investment you have, when you purchased it, what state you live in, and calculate how much you should give to charity. So that's a very easy to use tool if you're not already working with a financial advisor. But essentially it's free money that you've earned by making this investment that now you can turn to your favorite nonprofit, your favorite community church, and give and support their work without spending anything, and actually typically saving because of the tax write-offs.
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense. And I could speak for my own church, and I've been a part of a church plant for over a decade. And I know that each year, something that we do for end of year giving campaigns is we will around November or so, we will present a vision for what we have planned for the upcoming year. And a lot of times associated with that is some kind of a number associated with if we were to achieve, if we want to make this vision turn into a reality, there's this, we will need to raise this much of money as a part of that end of year offering, or some churches will call it a Christmas offering or a New Year offering and things like that. Can you speak to that at all? What are some of the giving methods that the churches are using for this type of thing, or even just language to talk about this kind of giving? Because it is different than like your typical week to week giving, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, again, talking about that tax deadline of December 31st, what we find with crypto donors especially is that they do skew younger. They are, for many of them, this is their introduction to philanthropy. And so they might not know that they can benefit from donating to charity during this time of year. It's all year long, but really, the calculation, you want to make sure you've got that gift in by December 31st. So including, it's as simple as this. Did you know we accept stocks and crypto? Give before December 31st to meet the tax benefit deadline. You can link to a resource. You could link to our calculator. You don't have to give them any financial advice, right? That's not your role when you're fundraising. Right. But just encouraging them to understand this is a tax incentivized way to give. They're going to get more benefits from giving $10,000 in an asset like crypto or stocks than they would benefit from giving $10,000 cash. So there's a lot of language that you can play around with, but it's really as simple as letting them know it's a tax-friendly way to donate.
I love that. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I was going to say, so this falls into alignment with so much of what we talk about in our generosity space here at Ministry Brands too. And, leading with transparency and making it available, right? So like your job as a church leader, as a pastor, communications pastor, lead pastor, your job is to make the invitation. Now, whether they choose to give, how they choose to give is up to them. And that step of obedience is between them and the Lord. But
that's right.
Giving them the information they need to make a wise stewardship decision is, the ideal way to communicate giving. So that's number one thought that came to mind. Number two is we're actually doing a webinar with the Giving Block in August. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but if you subscribe here, we'll let you know. But we are hosting a webinar, and this is a great idea. I haven't fleshed out all the details yet, but this is a great idea for a resource to give to our attendees. How do I talk about this? What do I need to say? What's the best way to encourage people to utilize this or give to our church? So just kind of logging that away. I think that what you just said is phenomenal. And we have historically always provided some sort of script for church leaders to be able to talk about year-end giving. So adding that in there, we may have mentioned something about stock, but that deadline is a big deal. And I think it's a reminder, and it's to the benefit of the donor, right? So sometimes what's uncomfortable about asking for money is it feels like it's a benefit to the church. We all know that there's, tax benefits to giving in general, but just, hey, friendly reminder, this is when you need to get those gifts in by so that you can benefit from that tax. It's not a refund, but that tax benefit. So super helpful. I will definitely include something about that.
Yes.
Jess,
go ahead.
I was just bragging on Jess, the webinar queen over here at Ministry Brands, making it all happen. So definitely check those out. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, we actually release our end of year toolkit in September, immediately following Labor Day, so that you can prepare your communications for end of year and make sure all of those key aspects are in there. But you nailed it, right? You're benefiting your donor by giving them all the options to donate to you in the way that works best for them. Everyone's finances are different, but typically, I could not give $10,000 in cash or $1,000 in cash today. But if I'm holding these assets and I know I'm going to benefit from offsetting my capital gains, that's a much easier way for me to give, right? So you're just providing them with information they need to make the best decision for their financial portfolio.
I love it.
That makes a lot of sense. And, something I'm just sitting here thinking is, even communicating, whether it be on your giving page of your website or, I think about like the pre-service slides, how easy it would be to just say, hey, we now accept stock or crypto gifts or donations. Like just the way, what you're communicating, maybe someone in your church that's sitting in the seat, they may not choose to give through those methods, but it just communicates that, hey, we're looking forward, right? And that we're flexible and that, we're not afraid to innovate. We're not afraid to try to provide the best options for our people and to be innovative with this. I think it just communicates so much that you're even offering this kind of thing.
Yeah. It also can inspire some family philanthropy conversations. You talked about the church moving from checks and cash to credit cards. And I remember that every Sunday, us kids were fighting over which one of us got to put the check in the bucket.
Right.
And so, but when you're thinking about that next generation, how are you engaging the next generation of individuals for them to see their church reflect back to them that they have this shared interest of making sure they're staying innovative and sustainable, right? It is a sustainability tactic to accept crypto and to accept stocks easily online. We know this is the preferred way to give up through the baby boomer generation. We're doing everything online. We're probably listening to this online. We are paying all of our bills online, making our doctor's appointments online. And that access can lead to more giving and just a better giving relationship, right? It really does. Again, it's not just about you take. It's really you're allowing your members of your community to give to you in the best way for them. And they appreciate that. So we've actually had it where, it's shared as a QR code before or after church on the screen. People are scanning it, or at the very least, people are going and saying later at Sunday dinner, for example, did you know our church actually has, they're accepting crypto? I keep hearing, a grandma to her grandson, I keep hearing you talk about this crypto thing. My church is doing it. That can really inspire that family conversation around philanthropy too.
I love it.
It's very cool. I know that you have so much expertise when it comes to things like fundraising and capital campaigns and those kind of things. I think of building projects or raising money for mission trips and missions and things like that. Do you feel like being able to give through methods like this is beneficial for projects like that?
Absolutely. And a lot of the benefit is because of that higher average gift size. So when you are, embarking on a capital campaign or a very goal-driven mission, you have a certain amount that you need to raise. And it's typically within a window that would allow for someone to plan financially to give you a large gift. But because that gift size of crypto is over $10,000 on average, they're able to support your work in a more impactful way than if you were just allowing cash to fund a capital campaign. Again, a lot of people's cash flow does not lend itself to giving a gift of that size, but their investments might. And so you're just opening them up to being able to support you even more in something that they already believe in by allowing stocks and crypto. Average stock gift is around $5,000. But again, a much smarter way for a lot of people to give. One demographic that is interesting is that over 84% of millennial millionaires are invested in crypto, but the average salary for millennial investors is around 100K. So when you put those two things side by side, what it really means is that millennials have crypto to give you, not cash flow, right? And
so interesting.
Yeah, it goes back to how important it is to open up the members of your church to give to you in a way that works for them. And with a capital campaign or any goal-driven campaign, they can give a really meaningful amount, feel very inspired by being part of it, by being able to give in assets rather than just cash.
Yeah, I'll take that a step further too, just culturally within the church. People are giving their tithes and gifts, and those amounts are I want to say generally a little bit smaller because they're giving at a regular basis, or they should be, right? They're faithfully tithing over time. Whereas an opportunity for like a capital campaign or a more targeted fundraising campaign, they're going to be thinking outside the box. They're not going to be operating on their normal gift amount that is coming directly from the 10% of their usually it's salary, right? And so they're going to be looking for different ways to break out of that. If they're already giving 10%, most of us don't have a ton of extra cash just laying around. And so to your point, that jogs their, I don't necessarily know that my gift will be very impactful outside of my, tithes and offerings, but stock and crypto is, going to be a great gift size. So just, adding that kind of piece to it.
Exactly.
I'm just kind of curious, Emily, what would you say to the pastor or church leader, who is just interested in cultivating more than just giving, but, like a cheerful and intentional generosity in their church? And we talk a lot about that, right? We talk about healthy churches, and cheerful generosity is a big phrase that we use around here. What would you say to those pastors or church leaders today?
I love that so much. And I think the biggest thing is to have fun with it and get a little bit curious about it, right? Crypto does not need to be a scary endeavor whatsoever. We have taken the risk out of it. And so I also think another aspect of this is naturally, we all take an interest in people who take an interest in us. And part of why we love church is because we feel a sense of belonging there. And so when you're thinking about allowing your parishioners or members of your community to give you crypto or stock easily online, remember that it's really an invitation. It really is a sense of belonging. This is something for the ones who will care about it, that they really believe in or love, or having fun experimenting with, or having fun seeing their gains all the time. You already referenced the price of crypto right now. It's reaching new all-time highs multiple times this year. We got to over $110,000 in Bitcoin. And so that's really exciting. So I would say you're bringing them in and really showing, hey, we care about this thing that you care about. We understand this is something you're excited about. And so making that space for them by even putting up that screen as simple as we now accept stocks and crypto online is an invitation. It's fun. And I think as you're learning about it individually, if you want to learn about it more, just go in with some curiosity and have fun learning about it. It's just new technology, but it is here to stay. So, it's a wonderful community. It's a very generous community as well.
That's a great perspective, because I think of a church leader who may just say like, oh, listen, I don't have any interest in this, like it's not who I am. It's not something that I've experimented with or I've gotten involved with, but I guarantee you there's some people in your church who have, and it can be a great connection point between you and them. And then if it fuels the mission, if it fuels the kingdom building that you're doing, I just think it's a win-win for everyone. And I love your perspective on being able to kind of use it as a connection point between the people that you have in your church. And I think that in the same way, I can remember when our church started Text to Give, how much fun it was just to try it out, right? It inspired new people to give in new ways and more consistently. I think it's just another area, another way of technology of getting people to involved. And again, it's fueling that mission, fueling that kingdom work. And so it's a beautiful thing. Again, we talk about healthy churches a lot. One of the questions that we love to ask the people who come on our show is, in your opinion, what would you say is one essential component of a healthy church?
Oh, that's a great question. I really believe inclusivity is so important. And that goes back to what we're talking about these different ways to give and really meeting everyone where they are. We're all on such individual journeys. And so being inclusive of meeting people where they are, I think is so important.
Amazing. Yeah. Love that. And it fits right in with that theme. So that's incredible. Well, I know that we all like to end things up with the final 5. Jess, would you want to take Emily through our final 5 rapid fire round?
Would love to. Okay, Emily, what is one book on this subject or something similar that you would recommend to church leaders?
I would recommend Blockchain Revolution, which is a book. And I know this is supposed to be rapid, but the reason is crypto exists on what's called blockchain technology. And blockchain technology is fascinating. There are so many really beautiful use cases for it globally that I think people could get really excited about. So it's not just crypto specific. Again, crypto is part of blockchain technology, but Blockchain Revolution, I think, would spark some really great ideas about some of the love and global work that many churches are doing.
Very cool. Okay, last thing that you've listened to on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you stream music.
I have an ambient playlist that I play during work. So yeah, that's my focus playlist.
Yeah, I need something without lyrics. Otherwise, I start to type what I'm listening to.
Same.
Okay, great. Favorite piece of technology or software right now?
Ooh, I am using something called FlyKit and a FlyKit app for my travel. So my family lives on the other side of the country. And lots of fun travel coming up this summer. It helps keep you healthy and adjust to time zone changes really well by telling you, your circadian rhythm. Gives you supplements to take at different times, telling you when to eat, when to take a nap. That will all help you adjust and prevent jet lag or getting sick while you're on trips. So FlyKit is a fave right now.
Very cool.
Okay, I need that one. Okay, what's a quote or some advice that has stuck with you over the years?
This is a great one. I had a very early boss early in my career that said, he actually didn't say it. He had it hanging on his wall behind him in his office. And it said, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Ooh. And that has always stuck with me. Yes.
I love that. Okay. Lastly, what's one thing you'd communicate to our audience of church leaders?
Oh boy. I think right now, in a time where things can feel increasingly divisive, the number one thing that is so important and that is beautiful about what churches provide is community. I truly think community will save us all, and it is such an important aspect to this world. And I think it's also why we're all here, to be in community with each other. And so, yes, I think community is the answer.
I love it. That's sweet.
Very good answer. That's a great answer. Where can people follow you? Where can they find out more about the Giving Block? And I know that folks will want to learn more about all of this.
Absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Emily Fascilla. I am the only one, which is a nice benefit. I will be the first one to pop up. But the Giving Block is also on LinkedIn, and we share tons of resources about crypto donors, who they are, how to get involved with them. And then we're also very active on Twitter, or also known as X. There we are at the Giving Block, and I am TGB Emily, always promoting different nonprofits we're working with and sharing how they are getting into crypto philanthropy, stocks, and donor advised giving. So very fun for anyone who's looking for those fundraising tips or just learning more about us.
That's incredible. Awesome. Well, Emily, thank you so much for talking us through this today and being on here with us. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm going to go and do some homework after this.
Great. Thank you so much. It was so fun talking to you too.
I love this. And I know that our listeners have been encouraged with it. And I hope that it's inspired them too, just to look into this, right? To include it in their church's giving plan, because I feel like it's the future and there's just so much opportunity.
Before we sign off too, I want to mention that at the time of this podcast, there is no additional charge to add stock and crypto to your giving platform. And so we'll be sure to link. There's a quick form that you'll need to fill out, and then we'll get you connected with the Giving Block to be able to start taking those gifts like as quick. I think it's like 48-hour turnaround or something crazy. I'm not committing you guys to that, Emily, but I just remember it being a very quick turnaround to be able to set that wallet up. So we'll make sure to put a link to that interest form. Naturally, you do have to have the Ministry Brands giving platform for the partnership. That doesn't mean you can't explore the Giving Block outside of Ministry Brands, but just as of right now, there is no additional charge to add that option to your giving form. So definitely check that out.
Very cool. Well, Emily, thank you again. Jess, thank you again for being on here with me. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk through these things. And I would just say for all of our listeners at home, if this has been a valuable resource to you, if it's inspired you or equipped you to continue to do ministry right there in your city, would you consider sharing this? Share it with a friend. Leave us a review. Leave us a comment, because we love hearing from all of you and how this is benefiting you. And we just love being able to equip leaders just like you all around the world. And so every little bit of sharing or commenting, it goes a really long way in helping us accomplish that mission. So again, follow us, subscribe. We would love to be able to continue bringing you these awesome conversations with incredible people like Emily. So Emily, thank you again for being on here with us. For all of our listeners, until next time, keep leading well, and we'll see you all right back here next week on Church Leadership Lab.
This episode of the Church Leadership Lab podcast is brought to you by Ministry Brands, the largest provider of church technology software. Over 90,000 churches rely on Ministry Brands for their single platform solution that brings together all the digital tools a church needs. From online giving to websites to church management software and more, Ministry Brands is leading the way in simple to use, innovative solutions, all with the goal of empowering healthy churches. To learn more, visit ministrybrands.com.